So I wanted to take a few minutes with this video to go over 3 interesting PlayStation 5 stories, and if you could hit that like button of the video, thank you to those that do it, and as always, it's very much appreciated. Now, the stories I want to cover in this video includes Horizon 2 and God of War Ragnarok's release dates. Last of Us Part 3 already has an outline, and Sony's aggressive strategy this year, along with their impressive financial numbers, which pretty much overshadow the competition. First, let me know if you guys want a Last of Us Part 3 or not. We're going to talk about the story later on in the video, but I'm curious where all of you sit on this topic. So comment below. Do you want Last of Us Part 3 or not? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, before we dive into the first story of the video, I want to remind all of you that there are 2 PlayStation events happening tomorrow, not just the State of Play, as we all know. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. CST, we have the PlayStation China Press Conference 2021, which, depending on where you live, is actually tonight. I know for me, it's 11 p.m. EST tonight that the event will go live. According to website Push Square, it goes live at 8 p.m. PT, which is also tonight, and 4 a.m. BST tomorrow in that time zone. To watch the event, the platforms mentioned are Weibo, Bilibili, Douya.com, Huya.com, and TikTok, and I'll have these linked below so you guys don't have to go to different places. I'll just link the website below that has all of this information. And of course, we also have the State of Play event, which goes live tomorrow at 5 p.m. EST. This event will showcase a lot of Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart gameplay, which I'm excited for, and 2 indie titles that will probably be Kena for one, and the other one could be the recently announced Abandoned, since their website goes live later this week, so the timing makes sense. Maybe Little Devil Inside will finally shine, since that game is meant for release this summer possibly, and we haven't seen anything since its announcement. Either way, exciting stuff ahead. Now, diving into the actual first story of the video, Last of Us Part 3. So this was kind of a surprise, but also kind of not, but apparently Last of Us Part 3's story outline is written already, but may not see the light of day anytime soon. Reading from Video Game Chronicle, Naughty Dog's creative director Neil Druckmann revealed on the Script Apart podcast, as transcribed by IGN, that an outline detailing what happens after the second game already exists, and that he'd like to see it being made into a game one day. I don't know how much I want to reveal, Druckmann explained. Co-writer Haley Gross did write an outline for a story that we're not making, but I hope one day can see the light of day that explores a little bit of what happens after this game. We'll see. The way he says it, it sounds like this could be DLC, or they could make it into a standalone smaller title they release at some point. Not necessarily a full-fledged 20+ hour game, but rather a 5 to 8 hour experience. This also sounds like Naughty Dog is pretty much going to work on a new IP alongside the rumored Last of Us remake, the confirmed Factions 2 multiplayer, and the rumored Last of Us 2 PlayStation 5 upgrade. Now, diving into the second story of the video, Sony is going aggressive this year. So Sony's financial call went live recently, and a lot of information came out of that. We're going to discuss also in the third story of the video, but let's get through some of the highlights here and Sony's aggressive strategy. So in terms of overall highlights, Jeff Keighley does a pretty nice summary, but I'll also combine it with information from industry analyst Daniel Ahmed. So to get this started, 7.8 million PlayStation 5s have been sold by March 31st, 2021. In comparison, according to Daniel Ahmed, 7.6 million PlayStation 4s were sold in that same time frame. So the PlayStation 5 is outpacing the PlayStation 4, even with the state the world is in right now. There are 47.6 million PlayStation Plus members as of March 31st, 338 million games sold for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 in the past year, and the big one, 24.4 billion in gaming revenue in the past year, which Daniel Ahmed later corrected to actually being 25.03 billion. To compare here, Xbox's revenue for the past year was approximately 15 billion, so PlayStation almost doubles that, but we already knew that PlayStation was the leading platform, so we kind of expected higher numbers. So of course, all of this pretty impressive numbers from Sony. So those are the highlights, but what about this aggressive strategy? Reading from Video Game Chronicle, speaking to investors in a conference call on Wednesday, transcribed by VGC, Sony CFO Hiroki Totoki provided more details on the company's plans for gaming software investment, telling listeners it intended to enhance its software offering via both internal and external investment. We intend to increase development personnel and other in-house costs by approximately 20 billion yen, 183 million US year on year, as we further strengthen our in-house software, the exec said in the conference call. To enhance our software offering, we intend to continue investing in partnering with external studios in addition to aggressively investing in our in-house studios. So Sony plans to invest an additional $183 million in first-party and external studios this year. Daniel Ahmed makes a note that that's not the total budget, obviously, but just how much they're increasing it by. If you haven't noticed at this point, many PlayStation first-party studios have been growing heavily to take on development of multiple games at once, which is a part of this aggressive strategy going forward. Along with that, you have partnerships like that with Haven Studios and more recently with Firewalk Studios. This again is a reminder that Sony is hitting on all fronts: indies, new IPs, existing first-party IPs, etc. Games are the focus for PlayStation, but you guys let me know if you're surprised by PlayStation almost doubling Xbox's revenue or not. Let me know down in the comments below. Now diving into the final story of the video, God of War Ragnarok and Horizon 2 Forbidden West release dates. So some interesting conversations have been going around on the internet recently after the financial call, and the discussion has been around release dates for big PlayStation titles. One of the pieces of text that people are interested in is this, reading from twinfinite.net. Sony expects software sales to drop year on year during the first quarter that will end June 30th, but they should go back to matching last year's performance from the second quarter going forward. So for people who don't know, Sony's financial year starts April 1st and ends March 31st the following year. So Sony's first quarter is actually April to June. So they expect software sales to not match last year's during this time, but to pick up after June, which is the second quarter going forward. The key line here is matching last year's performance, starting with the second quarter, which had the likes of The Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima already out last year around that time. And while I'm personally very excited for Ratchet & Clank, it's not going to carry the sales numbers alone. So the theory that people are having is that in order to match last year's numbers in the second quarter, which runs from July to September, Sony could be releasing another big PlayStation title that most are betting is Horizon 2 Forbidden West. I personally don't see Horizon as a summer title, but I could see it dropping in September. In terms of God of War Ragnarok, I personally still think it's an early 2022 title, which could still fall in Sony's fiscal calendar for this year. But if Horizon is releasing in September, could God of War drop in November, for example? But if it does drop, say, March 2022, it still falls within this year's calendar. I guess we'll find out this summer. If we don't get a release date for God of War, then it's pretty much a 2022 title at that point. But you guys let me know if you see Horizon 2 releasing in September or not. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button as it always helps, and subscribe if you're new. I got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one. And welcome back to the after show. This is the part of the video where we have a little fun down in the comments below. If you're old, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. For today's thing, what I want you guys to do is to body, obliterate, destroy, and overall harass the comment section with PlayStation, the sales king, obviously in reference to their impressive sales numbers that we recently discussed. And of course, I'm more excited to see what they do with all of that money in terms of games for the future. If you are excited for that as well, destroy the comment section with PlayStation, the sales king, and I'll definitely heart those comments like I always do, because I appreciate everybody who stays to the end of my videos. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one.